Good evening and welcome to the Thursday evening, January 7th, 2016 TV Toastmasters meeting. I'm Steve Ehrenholz. I'm the Vice President of Membership for TV Toastmasters Club 9523. We have a nice meeting in store for you tonight. We will have two of our members presenting prepared speeches. We will also have Tabletopics, where we will be practicing our impromptu speaking. And then we will have the evaluation portion of our meeting, where we will get feedback on what we've done well as things that we might want to consider improving for future speeches. I'd also like to welcome a guest that we have with us this evening, Miss Noemi Melgarejo. She is visiting with us this evening, so welcome, Noemi. Happy to have you here. And for those of you looking in at home, we always are interested in having guests. If you would like to find out a little bit more about TV Toastmasters, you can find us on the web at www.tvtoastmasters.com. And you can also see some of our previous meetings there in the connection to YouTube. I'd like to go ahead at this point and introduce our Toastmaster for this evening's meeting, Diego Martinez. Diego?
Thank you, Steve. Thank you so much for being invited me to this meeting. I will be glad to be an honor to be the Toastmaster of the night. We're going to have some good things tonight. First of all, we are beginning the first meeting of the year, so fantastic start. And we're going to have a lot of people who are contributing and wearing a lot of the responsibilities in this club, so that's fantastic. The first thing that I'm going to call is the person who's going to be our word or ad counter, and his name is Rick. And could you, Rick, please come to the stadium? Rick. Thank you, Rich.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. So, word of the day. Give me 1 second here to get back into my phone. The word of the day is amazing. It's an adjective meaning causing great surprise or sudden wonder. As in, I had the most amazing day, or you would not believe the amazing thing that just happened to me on the way over here. So, word of the day, amazing.
Thank you, Rich. Very good. It's amazing to continue with the word of the day, especially because we're going to have a full agenda. Now I'm going to invite it to the next person to the podium. It's going to be Emily Garrett, who's going to do the table topics. Emily, please come to the podium. Thank you.
Thank you. Table topics is part of our impromptu speaking portion of the meeting, and it helps us learn to speak on our feet. The people that I call up here will not have known what question will be asked and will come up with something as quickly as they can and speak from 1 to 2 minutes, which is the goal for this segment. It's a new year, so many times in Toastmasters clubs in January, the first meeting of the year, they start asking you about your resolutions. I personally don't make New Year's resolutions. I make goals for myself at any point in the year. And so I'm not going to ask anybody what their resolutions are, just so you know. Our guest this evening, Noemi, said, I have a question for you. What was your greatest accomplishment last year?
Thank you, Toastmaster. Good evening, everyone. Well, that's a pretty good question. What was my biggest accomplishment last year? I will say that, because I've been one of my, I will definitely say that one of my biggest accomplishment, it was for me, like, English is not my first language. So English, I've been studying English probably 5 years ago. So the last year I actually moved here to Cincinnati And I actually live with a professor from a university, from Xavier University. So definitely being with them, I kind of like practice and improve my English skills and kind of like work my way through improving my way of speaking and communicating with people. So I guess working with them and them helping me. So I guess that was one of my biggest accomplishments last year, just improving my English skills.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And that's something I find so amazing about Toastmasters is people who speak English as a second language, yet they get up here and do speeches and compete in our World Speaking Championship and win against people who've been speaking this language all their lives. I really do think that that is truly amazing. My next question is for Steve. Why do you think people make resolutions and fail to keep them?
Thank you, Madam Tabletopics Master, fellow Toastmasters, our honored guest, and those looking in from home. Why do people make New Year's resolutions but fail to keep them? Is that the question?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know why people keep making resolutions other than maybe it's to succumb to peer pressure because people are like, oh, what kind of resolutions are you going to make? I agree with Emily. I don't really make resolutions at the beginning of the year. I figure you can make changes anytime you want. You don't have to wait till the 1st of January. I think the other problem with people making resolutions, well, there may be a couple of problems. First of all, they may make too many. They may make a resolution that is too big and try to accomplish it all at once, and that's usually not going to work. Or they will make a resolution that really may not have that much significance. So I'm not exactly sure why people make resolutions when they know they're not going to keep them, other than I have to go back to my initial premise that they succumb to peer pressure.
Thank you, Steve. And one thing I do like to do at the beginning of the year, not making resolutions, but the new year makes me think, where am I going to go on vacation this year? Those are the things that are important to me to think about every January. Rich, could please come up and tell us why you joined Toastmasters and what some of your future goals are, whether it's Toastmasters or otherwise.
I joined Toastmasters because my wife joined Toastmasters and said, you should come. I want the company. True story. Now, I stayed because right around the time that I joined Toastmasters, I was also staring down the teeth of a possible promotion at work, which sounds like an odd way to phrase that, till you realize that that promotion would require me to get up and conduct meetings, stand in front of 15, 20 people, and teach classes, one-on-one interpersonal interactions, and I'd spent my whole professional life on the phones in a call center. You don't do public speaking in a call center. You talk to a box in your computer monitor and you pretend there's a human being on the other side of the screen. So I stayed with Toastmasters because I needed to brush up on a whole world of rusty, amazingly bad interactions skills. So what are my goals for the year? Well, some of them really aren't Toastmasters related. I've been working on losing weight. I've lost 80 pounds so far, and I'm looking to lose at least 60 more, hopefully more than that, because I've got more than that to go. So that's my big goal, get rid of all the dead weight, so to speak. Now, on top of that, I do finally want to get around to getting my Confident Communicator badge, because frankly, I've been here for a year and a half and given 4 speeches officially, maybe, so not the best track record for my membership yet. Got to take care of that. So, filler killer word, what do you know? Confident Communicator, have less of me standing up here in front of people while I talk, and have a really amazing year.
Thank you, Rich. Very lofty goals, and I know that you can do them all. That's it for our table topics. Thank you to our 3 speakers, and I'll turn the meeting back over to Diego.
Thank you, Emily. Well, with that, we conclude the table topics, and now we're going to transition into the second part of the meeting, which is the preparation of the speakers. So the first speaker that we have tonight is going to be Kormelink. She is number 4 of the DTMs and International Toastmaster. So she's going to speak from the manual. Competent Communicator is the research your topic, and her title is going to be the yardstick of your excellence. And Rick is going to present the objectives. We don't do it here? Okay. I'm sorry. That's another club. So let's welcome Kormelink, research your topic with the yardstick of excellence.
It's going in the yard.
Yard.
No, it's not yard. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, and our most welcome guest at home and our most welcome guest in the studio, a beautiful young lady. Glad you came. The yardstick of excellence. Have you ever had company ready to come? You're getting your house ready for company, and all of a sudden you look and go, oh my goodness, when was the last time I did that baseboard? Or you go, oh my goodness, when was the last time I did that chandelier? That happens in Toastmasters too. We get complacent and we sort of skim through what we're doing, and I was reading some of the things that we're supposed to be doing with Toastmasters. Toastmasters has been around for 91 years. Ralph Smedley had all the tools, everything that we needed. I started reading in our Competent Communication Manual. Every role has a before, during, and after the meeting. I don't know of anyone who has been reading those and does the before, after, and during the meeting. We come to the meeting to do our role. And I'm going, oh, if we start doing the before, during, and after what we're supposed to be doing, our meetings would really be fantastic. We wouldn't be scrambling at the last minute. We'd know who wasn't going to be here and not have to fill their role because they didn't show up. And it would make quite a difference in the enjoyment. We would have enough people, more people would be wanting to join us, and we wouldn't have to be having 2 or 3 roles. Rich tonight, I think he's doing like 4 roles tonight. It's a lot more fun. So my first resource is read the back of your manual. The rules, the meeting roles and responsibilities start on page 67. If this is what your manual looks like, was revised in 2013. So if you have one earlier than that, it may be on a different page. But they tell you, and part of my job as the Vice President of Education is to encourage people to take roles that they haven't taken before. Steve had not signed up for a role, so I said, Steve, what role are you going to take? And you've done this one this many times, and this one this many times, this one this many times, and timer, no times in this club. He knows what timing is all about. I said, well, everything they had to do with the timing in the evaluation, I said, you always already do that excellent. The only way I think that you might be able to improve, go read the before, during, and after the meeting of what the timer is supposed to do. And he has complied. I see he's got a list there of who's doing what, and he is doing so good. With that, I have a little gift for him, which I will fill in. I have the Competent Communicator Manual, and when I first got this, I put it aside because I thought it was too difficult to try to understand. I now know this. I now know that in leadership there are 10 attributes of a good leader. Guess what the first one is?
Preparation.
What'd you?
Read.
Preparation.
I'll let you read what it is, Steve.
Listening.
Listening. That is the most important part of communication. When I joined Toastmasters, I thought, I don't need Toastmasters. I've been speaking in public for 20 years. I don't need Toastmasters. And I find, yeah, you really do need Toastmasters. You're a talker. You don't listen. And you would have a lot less conflict in your life if you listened before you made a judgment. So the listening portion of it is one of the leaders, and we can learn a lot from, we can make our Toastmaster meeting a lot more excellent if we use the leadership manual as it was designed to be used. When we look at the project, there is a quiz, and I've looked at many people's books. They do not have that quiz filled in. This says, what do you know about listening? Then there's a place to tell you what you need to know about listening. And then they give you an assignment where you can learn how to listen as a speech evaluator, a Tabletopics speaker, an all counter, or a grammarian. Those are all listening roles. And each one, and so we're only getting not even a third of here because we go, oh, I'm going to be grammarian tonight. Would you find one of these and sign me up to do an evaluation for me, which is written in this manual. So I will present this to Steve, and I thank you, and if you'll give that back to me when I sit down, I'll write in your job for tonight, what I think you did as an evaluation. My other resource for research your topic for the Yardstick of Excellence, Toastmasters International has 10 standards of excellence. The first 6 are educational. All these ribbons we have on our banner is because we've had exceptional learning in our club. When your president's distinguished, that means you had 9 out of the 10 goals in the distinguished club plan. And we have slipped a little bit. 2015 we were presidents. We were select distinguished. We had 7 out of 10 goals. But you only get this if the members are learning and growing, and if they bring in members. So if you have 10 goals and you haven't brought in a net plus 5 members for the year, that you end up the year with a net plus 5, you aren't distinguished. International doesn't send you the ribbon for the banner and give you the 10% discount on your next order. And we also have, this has been the home club of our area governor, our division governor. We've earned ribbons for the Beat the Clock, which is coming up in May and June, and the Talk Up Toastmasters is the award. The last time we received that was in 2007, that we brought in 5 new members between February 1st and March 31st. So it can be done, but we just have to decide we want to be an excellent club, and how are we going to get there, and what are we going to do. My other resource, last night at my talk meeting, this is my 5th Toastmaster meeting this week. The guy gave a speech, and he said his goals for 2016, and he had this Toastmaster challenge. He's going to give at least 1 speech a month, complete 1 communication manual. In fact, he just got his DTM in October. He is going to go for his 2nd DTM before the end of this year. What we decide to be as our excellence as an individual reflects on the club, which reflects on the area, the division, the district, and international. And every weak club at the club level weakens the worldwide international structure. So I challenge you this year to set a goal for yourself. Make your yardstick of excellence something that will be meaningful to you and help us. I will be contacting each person to find out what is your goal and how do you plan to meet that. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Carol. Thank you so much. We're going to have now 1 minute on the clock for evaluation, and we'll be right back. Welcome back. Now we're going to have the second speaker of the night, who's going to be Diego Martinez, and he is the ACB and the competent communicator. He's looking for accomplish other goals as members of the club. Also, he is the area director of the Area 51, and he is visiting this club today. So please welcome Diego Martinez.
Hey.
The topic that I'm talking is from the manual, and it's going to be the excellent. Rick, could you read what manual some? Number 2
Speaking to inform.
is project number 2.
Project number 2, resources for informing.
Is from 5 to 7 minutes. So the title is Empower Your Audience. One of the things that is coming to my attention is how we're going to do building, in this case, how we're going to build teams and how we're going to empower everything that we do in life. So one of the things that happen in life is we have to be able to not only just have something at the beginning, we have to end it in a nice way. And what is the nice way that you want to do it? So building project and initiative requires savvy attitude and also resources that initiate, plan, motivate, and also end in the project. One thing that empower ourselves is help from the community. The only person who can do everything obviously is God, but you can need the help from other people. And what happened is we need to be resourceable in our life. In my career as a project manager, I am so curious and I'm building teams every day. As I go in different organizations, I can go to church, schools, and also in Toastmasters, you find people who want to empower. One thing that I did at the university was I was in a club called ISEC, and that club has all the students from administration and economic, and we build in seminars, and we have 200 people attending to seminars, and there was the whole Saturday. And I remember, how you going to put 200 people and find a keynote speaker? Well, I did that one at the university, and guess what? I am right now speaking in public. One thing that I am looking forward is doing HPL. And Toastmaster is the high performance program, and you have to work toward to your education.
You need to get rid of your phone. You cannot sit right there.
And one of the things that when you do the HPL, you have to be able to do some resources. And doing that one, we're going to have an event in January 16. It's our next TLI here in Ohio. And I would like to know who in the audience are going to be that day. So thank you so much, because your participation to TLI is also not only help but empower other members. Thank you so much for being there. One of the things that we're doing as an area director is also we need to make sure that we got some goals. And the goals for the club, as Carol demonstrated in the last part, we have to be distinguished. In this case, the club, if we make 5 alternative goals, they will be distinguished. If we make 7 goals, it will be a selected distinguished. And then if you make 9, you can be presidential. So who want to be the Triple Crown? Well, let's see that club is going to be TV Toastmasters. And the next thing that I want to do is using the bridge communication. The bridge communication that we're going to do is empower the audience. And I'm going to see what for the audience in important, this is the definition for delegation. The delegation is basically the process of transferring and responsibility to specific activity or task from one person to another to empower the individuals. How many people from this club who are officers are going to be for the next year 2016? Not 16, sino 2017. So we're going to be able to have all the things related to the new officers that are coming from this year and start training. So we're going to have some other thing, that delegation, who are going to be from this club to the next club, and we're going to be replacing, but we need to empower those members. So it's very important from the current officers to empower the next officers that are going to be coming for the next year. The other part that is for there's going to be some barriers, and there will be lack of confidence of the people who are going to be for the next period, but we can be able to have, there's going to be some kind of control, there's going to be selfishness, there's going to be also insecurity, but guess what? Everybody in this club can make it for 2016 and 2017. So we're just in the middle of the year. We're going to have a contest and international, and we're going to be able to do it. There is 5 steps for delegation that I would like to come and talk. The first one is make priorities. The priorities that you got to make is how many people we have in this club and who are the people who are going to be match those kind of priorities. So we need people who have ability and also have disponibility in order to have the knowledge, bring new ideas, how to motivate the audience, and also to able to make the groups. So these are the things. The number 3 is assign responsibilities. People who are going to be able to make the meetings, be responsible, no calling just in the 5 minutes, oh, I'm sorry, I couldn't make it. No, we need people who is accountable in the Toastmaster organization in order that we count on them. And also identify those training. Training is in 1 week, next Saturday on the TLI. So make sure that not necessarily you have to be a member to go there, but just take the opportunity to do that one. Now you have some resources and you have to basically empowering with authority. Who in this club have more experience? We have selected DTMs. Those DTMs basically is the goal that the club has. And the most important in this is just observe how they doing and how they delegate to the people. The other part is the authority and establish accountability. I know everybody is busy. Time is precious, but the most important is being accountable in a club. The last part that I want to emphasize is the benefits. You're going to have the Triple Crown, you're going to have your selecting, being president, and also you're going to be increasing productivity and quality, because every time that you speak in public, it's like going to an exercise. You have a better and better idea, and you're going to be obviously more thinner and also more healthy. So I think the quality to speak in public help you to develop more things. Also reducing costs and be motivated. And finally, you're going to have a great commitment not only with yourself but also with the team of the people who are with you. I'm going to basically read something about General Smith's pattern. He said, never tell people how to do things, tell me what you to do and they will surprise you when they're ingenuity. So one of the things is you have to execute and you have to have the power. And that's what I have, Mr. Toastmaster. Now, let's continue. Let's get 1 minute on the clock and we will be right back.
Name an effective political leader in history who couldn't speak well. There aren't any.
Because when it comes to a disease,
Freedom requires leadership, and leadership requires oratory. You have to speak to be heard.
I have a dream.
It's all about personal growth and guts.
Never give in. Never, never, never.
Welcome back. Now after the evaluation, now we're going to have the third part of the meeting, which is going to be the feedback. And in the feedback, we're going to have 2 evaluators. And I'm going to call the first evaluator who's going to be Rich for Carol and Kormelink. And, oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to call the general evaluator that is going to be the third part. And it's going to be Ben. And Ben is going to write the evaluation, the third part of the evaluation. So Ben, welcome to the third part of the evaluation.
First, I'm going to call up our first evaluator for Carol, who is Rich. Please come up.
Thank you. All right, so, Carol, challenge accepted. I'll be talking to you after the meeting, although you probably heard what my goals are anyway when I was doing the Tabletopics. I haven't been gone that long. Where did that go? So your speech today was project number 7 from the Competent Communication Manual, Research Your Topic, in which, amongst other things, you need to demonstrate that you had researched your topic and were able to speak intelligently on it. Yes, you did. Evaluation over. No. Now, let's see if I can read my handwriting here. So the first question was, how well did the speaker's topic apply to the audience?
Totally.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it was about Toastmasters and how to be a better Toastmaster, and I guess we are Toastmasters, so maybe it had some bearing. Seriously, it was obviously extremely applicable to us and stressing the importance of being better at what we do. So we're not here to be okay speakers. We're here to be great speakers, and the manuals are designed to help us be great. Next question. Was the topic well researched? Yes, clearly. I mean, you obviously know the manual, you know what's in the manual, and you know what these were for. I didn't know what these were for. I thought they were just, I knew they were awards, but I couldn't have told you for what. How well did the speaker support his or her main points? Yeah, well, you were drawing on Toastmasters training material to talk us about how we should learn to be better Toastmasters, and you were making the points by quoting from the manuals that we're supposed to be using. So yes, you made excellent points. Let's see here. Did the speaker vary the types of support material? Sort of. Most of it was out of the manual. These were your support materials, well, so it was definitely some variety. Not a huge amount of variety, but then, again, the subject was, use the stinking manual. We have them. So how much variety do you need for that? How clear was the speaker's purpose? Very, very clear. It was very clear. I had no trouble figuring out within about 30 seconds what the point was. Was the speech effectively organized? Yeah, exactly. Very well organized. First, use the manual. It will make you better. Second, this stuff is stuff we get from using the manual. Use the manual. And then we get more of this stuff. Did the speaker take advantage of body language and vocal variety? Vocal variety, yes. Body language, yes. You got up, you moved around, you gestured to things. It's hard to tell sometimes because my problem with this manual, of course, with the podium, of course, is I'm up here. Yours is you're down here. But you did a good job anyway. What could you have done differently to improve the speech? The one thing I saw really was that you opened with a bit of an anecdote about the subject. Given the point of the speech, which was use the material, be great, be excellent, be amazing, I think you could have started with just a bold statement. You could be better than you are. This will do it for you, and then proceed to tell us why. Mr. General Evaluator.
I'm going to call up our evaluator for our second speaker, who is Rick Barron, and he will be evaluating Diego Martinez.
Thank you, Ben. Resources to inform. The executive summary talks about getting into the mind of your audience, knowing who they are, a little bit about them, and how you can use that knowledge to have a great speech. And Diego, that's exactly what you did, because you came to us with a topic that was focused on Toastmasters and on leadership. Exactly the reason that we're here. To become better Toastmasters and to become better leaders. That is the tagline. Where leaders are made. Using your examples associated with how we can use the tools that were in the presentation to become better leaders. But let's step back. You used a couple of key things, I think, that help engage the audience. Number one was that you used examples that we could relate to. Specifically related to, hey, anybody been a keynote speaker or had to go get a keynote speaker or been in front of or behind a keynote speaker? We could all relate to that. The second one, participation. Hey, anybody out there going to the TLI? Yeah, me. I was going to the TLI, right? In addition, you use quotes. The quote at the end from Ralph Smedley and the educational material that was presented in the PowerPoint. You did a fabulous job of researching, getting to know who was here, finding some things that would be able to connect with us, and then using the appropriate tools and presenting them in a way that allowed us to be able to relate to the material. You may have saw my hand if you're out there in TV land. That was my hand that came in to pull the phone out. That's not the feedback that I've got for you. That was a technical glitch associated with the format that we've got here. That tool is a great tool to be able to help keep you on track. The suggestion that I have for you is the notes that you used look like they were stapled together or paper clipped together. And as you were flipping the notes, that was the only thing that really caught my attention. So it was something that distracted me from what you were doing. So the presentation is you. Part of the presentation was the material, and what I found myself was like, what's he doing here? He's flipping pages. My suggestion would be pull the staple, pull the paper clip, and just move stuff over to the side. Just slide pages over to the side. I didn't see any issues associated with use of the mouse. You were smart in that you put the laptop in front of you right here, so you didn't spend the whole time going, and you look here, and you look here, and you look here. So it was very impressive that you were able to stand up here, focus on the audience while giving the presentation, because you had enough forethought to put the laptop there so that you could see the points that you needed, and you didn't have to keep referring back. Mr. General Evaluator. Over here.
Now I'd like to call up the first member of the General Evaluation Team, Steve Ehrenholz, to give us our timer report. Grammarian? Okay, grammarian report first. Rich.
I'm not Steve, but I'll do in a pinch. All right, so, as grammarian and word counter, my role is to listen for the things that everybody uses and nobody likes to admit they use. And filler words that just take up time and take up space and contribute nothing. Ums and ahs are extremely straightforward. You either ummed or you didn't. Filler words are much more subjective. Sometimes a word is a filler word. Sometimes the word has a legitimate purpose in the speech. So to judge that, I listen for words that are either just thrown out and seem to have no purpose, or that are getting used and used and used over and over again when something else could be substituted in instead. Gives you a sense of what I'm looking for. So taking in order, Steve, as the presiding officer, welcomed us in. I only counted one or ah. It just sort of slipped right out. Little tiny baby Diego, as Toastmaster, 2. Just, again, little baby little hesitation. Myself, when I got up to deliver word of the day, there we go, right there, it was 1 at least. I did not catch myself doing an or an ah at that point. I was able to use word of the day 3 times, and I'm extremely disappointed, actually, because I didn't hear anybody else use the word of the day. For shame. Oh, you did. Excellent. I missed that somewhere. I feel I am abashed now. You did also have 4 little ums, ahs, and filler words. Not terrible, but again, something to work on. Naomi? Did I get your name right?
Yes.
Excellent. Noemi. I always feel terrible when I do this to brand new people to a club. I counted 10 ums and ahs. As the third Tabletopics speaker, I counted myself giving 3 ums or ahs. Carol, I caught 2 when you did yours, against little hesitations of speech. Diego, I counted 10, and some of that, about half of that was easily very subjective. I noticed you used the word "and" a lot to string together thoughts. There's definitely a role for that. It's what it does, but it seemed like it was being overused at one point. So just something to pay attention to. As first speaker evaluator, I again counted myself with 2 ums. Rick, I caught you with 2. Little baby ones again, slipping out when you're collecting your thoughts. And I haven't heard any from the timers report, so very good job with the timers report. Mr. General Evaluator?
Now I'm going to call on Steve to give us our timer report. Steve Ehrenholz.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. Well, my role as the timer is to help us become more accustomed to speaking within the time that we're allotted for our role. Carol had pointed out that one of the things that's important in leadership and in communication is to listen first, think second, and speak third. We probably all can relate to the fact that we speak first, listen second, and maybe think last. And then it's usually, whoa, I wish I hadn't done that. I'm here to provide us our feedback on our speaking roles today as far as how long it took compared to the time that was allotted for that speech. For our table topics that we had today, there were 3 speakers, and Noemi was at 1 minute and 8 seconds, which is fine, because you usually want to be between 1 minute and 2 minutes and 30 seconds. So you did well. My time for the table topic I was given was 1 minute and 19 seconds, and that takes about that much time to dispel with resolutions. Our third table topic speaker today was Richard, and his table topic was 1 minute and 42 seconds, so you were right in the time range that we need to be as well. So good job, everyone. For our prepared speeches today, Carol, your speech was to be 5 to 7 minutes. You used 7 minutes and 58 seconds, so you were 28 seconds over the maximum time allocation. Diego, for your presentation, you had 5 to 7 minutes, and you came in at 7 minutes and 12 seconds, so that's still acceptable because you have up to 7 minutes and 30 seconds. Our evaluators for today, I didn't time Ben as far as your opening for the evaluation portion of the meeting, but I did time our 2 individual speech evaluators. Richard, your evaluation went 3 minutes and 35 seconds, so you were just 5 seconds over the maximum allocation. And Rick Barron, your evaluation went 3 minutes and 16 seconds, so you were fine. And my presentation, well, wait a minute, I have to back up. Richard did grammarian and counter, and I wasn't quite sure how long to give you for that. I thought it might be between 1 minute and 2 minutes and 30 seconds, but you used 2 minutes and 57 seconds. So I think that was fine. Okay. And I'm doing really well because I forgot to turn the timer on. I'm going to turn it back to our general evaluator.
I'm going to evaluate in general the way the meeting went tonight. First off, before the meeting started, we got all the jobs filled due to no-shows, which is good that we could do that on a whim. The table topics were excellent and were of good quality and related to the time of season. We were well prepared with the camera equipment tonight, which sometimes is an issue. Though there was an issue with Diego's phone on the microphone, causing some sound problems. Both speeches were similar in general subject relating to Toastmasters and how to improve our skills, and I thought that was a good kind of theme for the meeting. Also, we should have had a whiteboard in preparation for the meeting that would have made things go smoother. And overall, I thought we had thoughtful evaluations for our speakers. And now I'm going to turn the meeting over to the Toastmaster, Diego.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you so much. It was amazing, just in order to have not only all the head that we can put together, but also the flexibility that every member in this club have put in together in order to maximize to the next level. I understand that it's difficult to have only just few members, but everything is possible in life. If a person can make 4 DTM, I think there's room for a 5th DTM or maybe a 10 DTM. So we are here for excellence, and one of the things that I want to turn in is this is a magnificent club, and we're looking forward for have your support and coming back and visit us. Thank you so much, and I'm going to turn into the president, or the elected president. Thank you, Steve.
The presiding officer.
Presiding officer.
We do have a guest with us this evening, and Noemi, I wanted to find out if you wanted to come up here and just give us a few of your perspective on our meeting this evening. Would you like to come up here and share a few thoughts with us? Okay, come on up. You can just give us some of your observations or...
Oh, great. Well, thank you. Thank you for calling me and for getting my my idea of I'm part of a club, which is the bilingual English Spanish club that we actually just officially become a club like 1 month ago. So actually for me, and I thank Diego that he invited me to come and look and take a look and see how you do it, because actually I know that you guys have more experience and I'm just starting, so I really love everything here. I love how the speeches, especially the speakers, because everything was very well structured. That way you guys were motivated and enthusiastic about the topics that you give and table topics. I mean, I basically did really like this club, and I'm looking forward to basically look on the YouTube videos, I guess, that you have, so I can get more ideas for my club. So it was very well. I really like this club.
Well, thank you, Noemi. Noemi mentioned that you can see our YouTube videos from past meetings, and that is at the TV Toastmasters website, which is at www.tvtoastmasters.com. Our next meeting will be on Saturday, January 16th, 2016, at the Anderson branch of the Cincinnati Public Library, and that starts at 10 a.m. on Saturday morning, that Saturday the 16th. I think with that, we will adjourn our meeting for Thursday evening, January 7th, 2016. This show will be showing up in February, and I hope that some of you who are looking in from home may decide to come and check us out. As I said, our next meeting will be January 16th at the Anderson branch of the Cincinnati Public Library, and we usually start at 10 a.m. It takes us a few minutes to get set up because we can't get into the library before 10 a.m. With that, I'm going to adjourn the January 7th, 2016 meeting of TV Toastmasters Club 9523.